Hey, what's up, guys? Just an update here on this 2022 Kawasaki z125. I had picked up this bike about 2.5 weeks ago, and I'm approaching, well, I guess I'm a little over 200 miles now. So, got a good feel for the bike, and I thought this would be a good opportunity to release a video of just kind of what I like about it, what I don't like about it, the very few mods that I've done to it, and just kind of what my outlook or vision and intentions are for this bike going forward. So starting with the things that I do like about this bike is obviously its size. The something to do with the size just really brings the kid out in you. For me, I grew up riding a Kawasaki KLX 110 dirt bike. And I'd ride around my neighborhood and go on to bike trails and all that stuff. So this being such a small bike, I mean, the ratio, like the size ratio, me to the bike, it really just kind of it's nostalgic. It puts me back to those times where I was kind of riding around on my KLX 110 dirt bike, So that, I appreciate. And anytime you're riding down the street, it's happened to me twice now that I see a little paved walkway, and I'm like, hell, I'll turn down and kind of see what's over there. That's an opportunity that's missed on some of these larger bikes. You just would never do that. This being so small and so quiet and discreet, you have the confidence to kind of go anywhere. So that's one thing that really sticks out to me for this bike so far. The next thing that I like about this bike would be obviously the gas mileage. So far, I've ran through 2 tanks of gas, and I'm up to, I don't know, 205 miles on the dash, I believe. And for the first 2 tanks, I was getting anywhere from 65 miles to the gallon to 68 miles to the gallon. So, that's really hard to beat. Even if you're on another motorcycle, I mean, that's just like unheard of, really, So that's great. A huge money saver with the trends now with gas prices. I mean, it's only a matter of time before this bike pays itself off, or at least a huge chunk of it. So that's something that I like about the bike. Next thing that I like about the bike, and probably the last thing I'll cover for now, because I'm only 200 miles in, would be the cornering. I don't know what it is. It might be, the ergonomics of the bike. You're sitting on it kind of upright, in an upright position. The mass is kind of centered on the bike. It being so, light, the flickability of it, to kind of enter into the turns. Just your control over the bike is amazing. It feels great, so that's something I really like. The seats, the sitting, or I guess the ergonomics. You're sitting upright, but so you're not hurting your back on long rides, but also having this bench seat to have the opportunity to kind of scoot your butt back and tuck down to kind of get more aggressive with it, whether it's trying to go for a high speed run or to get into the twisties. So that's something I really enjoy about this bike. You could have it at wide open throttle on the streets at all times and basically not risk getting a ticket. And when it comes to the corners, I enter corners at like 40 miles an hour on this thing, and it's a rush. So that's probably the last thing that I'll cover there for the things that I like. Now, the things that I don't like about this bike are very little so far. The main thing would be the gearing. So the gearing on this bike is very short. And what I mean by that is the time that it takes to get from first gear to second gear to third, you're shifting a lot. You're going through those gears very quick. So just to give you an idea, like first to second gear, you're shifting at about, 12 to 15 miles an hour. Second to third, probably 25, 30 miles an hour, and you get the point. But, what I'm finding is that there's a ton of shifting. And, for someone who's starting out on a bike, to be honest, that could be a good thing. That's an opportunity to kind of understand, the clutch more, where the engagement point is, keeping track of what gear you're in, and so on, right? So these are all good things for beginner riders. But me, I've been riding for close to 10 years now. So I'm not an advanced rider by any means, but, somewhere above beginner, I guess intermediate, so this is now becoming just kind of a chore to me, and an annoyance that I have to constantly shift and all that. But also it makes it fun. I mean, I guess, you're one with the machine, and you're actually working the bike that you're riding, you know what I mean? So for those who appreciate that, then you may like it. But that would be kind of my number one complaint, would be the lower gears are very short. Now, as you get up to speed, the second thing that I hate about, well, I don't want to say hate about it, but I'm finding is annoying, is that when you get up to speed, you'll pop it into fourth, and I'm finding it actually pretty difficult to redline the bike in fourth gear. And I'm not saying I want to redline it, but I want to get, as much as I can out of the bike. And sometimes, you'll be riding on a street there, and the slightest of incline, or the slightest of gust of wind, you could really feel the environment changes on this bike. If you're going up a tiny hill, it'll start to bog down. You may even have to drop a gear to maintain your speed. Same thing with like a gust of wind. You may be going wide open throttle at 59 miles an hour, get hit by wind and almost get reduced down to like 55. So now you got to regain that ground you lost, basically, and it takes a couple seconds to get back up to speed. So that's one thing that's kind of annoying to me. And I'm a bigger guy, I'm like 240 pounds. So you feel every little change on this bike. Now that's, really the only two things that I've found that are kind of annoying. Well, I guess I'll throw this in here too. I have experienced, right when I drove the bike off the lot, I did experience a couple times where there was a false neutral. You try to, you pull up to a light and you pop it down, and then it would say neutral on the dash. You let go of the clutch and it jolts forward because it's in first gear. So that happened a couple times just right off the lot. As I've been working the gears and cycling them through, it's happening less and less. But I will throw that in there. Sometimes you'll get a false neutral. So now moving on to the mods that I've done, which is basically nothing. But first thing I did was put the Pro Taper handlebars on there. To be honest, the set that I got was damn near identical to the OEM bars in terms of height. These that I got here are a little bit wider though. So so I find that, you know, more comfortable for me. And especially like going into the corners and stuff, I don't know, it gives me more leverage, it feels like, to enter into the corners. So I like these Pro Tapers, but I don't know, I guess they only cost me like $68, so they're not a huge dent to the wallet. But if I had anything to say about it, I would say they're more for looks than anything, really. Moving on to the bar end mirrors. I bought these guys. These are literally for bicycles. So I got the pair for, I want to say, $12. I was originally going to get rid of these larger mirrors and just have the 2-inch, you know, bar end mirrors. But to be honest, this didn't give me the range of view that I wanted. But I will say that for me, I like being able to see the car behind me. And these are really good for that. This isn't a good view, but I can see the car directly behind me at all times, which I really like, you know. So these are kind of like my blind spot mirrors, whereas this is kind of like more for my lane changing. I'll glance over, I still look over, but yeah, I think I like having the both sets on there. I am gonna go more for like an adventure bike type of look, so I think that will kind of complement it too. The next thing that I did to my bike was this USB charger. So I've got this guy here, and I've just zip tied it to my handlebar there. It looks, I mean, fairly clean. Can't really notice that it's there from afar. You know, it doesn't look out of place, I guess is the best way to put it. So I leave that just kind of dangling there over the bars, and I carry a retractable phone cord to be able to plug in here, which then leads to my phone mount here. This is another, just a bicycle phone mount, nice and cheap. I think I got it for like 14 bucks. And it works well. This will, you know, attach to both on all corners of your phone, and this bracket expands and actually kind of hugs it tight, and you can move it left to right, up, down, so on. So haven't had any issues with it coming loose, or, you know, close calls of you know, almost losing my phone. None of that. So that's great. The next thing that I did was obviously just like a little tank protector. I wear a lot of button down jeans, so I was getting a couple scratches on there. So I threw that on there. I think that cost me, I don't know, $5 or so. I guess the more unique thing that I have on here are these mole, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's MOLLE cases, kind of like tactical pouches, you know. I bought 2 of those in which I basically tied together. So you'll see there's a little D loop here. I've basically just got a like a tie down, like a ratchet tie down belt. I cut it and then zip tied it to this D loop here, and pop the seat off. Well, I guess I can show you guys. Why not? Ugh. It's probably gonna fall off actually. Okay, so those are just two straps that go underneath the seat that are zip tied to the D loops and just kind of hang in there. Get clipped in with the seat, boom. And the reason I put those on are just kind of, there we go. Just for the small stuff, you know, you go to the store, you want to grab a drink or I don't know, a sandwich, or you know, pack of cigarettes for the people that smoke. Sometimes your pockets are full. A lot of the times they are on a motorcycle. So, you know, I don't want to have to carry a backpack for everything that I want to grab. So I find that these guys are, you know, perfect size for just your everyday, you know, little things that you want to just kind of toss away and bring home. So I want to say these are like 9 inches tall, 7 inches wide, and I don't know, 2 inches thick or so. So the placement of it does kind of look like it may interfere with your leg, but it really doesn't. It sits right behind your leg, and it's great. Highly recommend those. And I guess inside of there, I keep a charger, this retractable charger for my USB when my phone dies. And then on this side, I have a little disc brake lock. And that's just if, you know, you run to the mall or somewhere where you're going to be inside for a couple minutes and just want some added security. So this just clips on, for those who don't know, clips on here and, you know, keeps your bike safe. So leave that in there at all times. And yeah, so that's more or less the mods that I have now. I'm considering getting, like I said, the sprockets swapped out to change the gearing a little bit. I've also considered getting an exhaust, the cold air intake, and possibly even stretching the bike 6 inches. From what I hear, it helps with the handling as well, and it looks more aggressive in my opinion. I guess I should note that if I stretch it, I'm going to keep it more of like a street bike type of look, you know, a naked street fighter type of look. But if I keep it standard without the stretch, I'm going to go with the adventure bike type of look, and I'm going to get dirt tires and possibly a bag for the back there, so I can actually take this thing camping. But at any rate, I didn't think this video would go so long, so I'll probably just cut it short here. But yeah, guys, I'll continue to put out videos as I put more miles on it and start to do the maintenance, the oil changes, and all that crap. So I'll document it all. But yeah, thanks for tuning in, guys, and